What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another video on the channel. And in this video we'll be going through my semi-finals AFL tips and predictions, as well as reviewing last week 1 finals to see how many I got correct, and also reviewing the last week of the big call. So first game, Port Adelaide v Geelong qualifying final. I streamed this one, and if you were there on my stream, yeah, you would have expressed the same sort of anger you had towards this game, which I had. It was not a pretty game to watch as a final. Let's be real. The Power were clearly dominant. Let's not take away anything from the Power. And in that second quarter, it was actually quite exciting watching them just dominate and the Power fans rise up and about, including Anthony. I called him at halftime. But unfortunately, the game sort of just died at the end. That third quarter was one of the most boring finals games I've watched, or finals quarters I've watched in probably that I can think of in a while, that's for sure. And everyone on the stream were expressing their opinions as well, sharing my same opinions. And overall, the Cats just couldn't find any answers. They just weren't good enough at the end of the day, and that's another finals choke. That's another opportunity they had in getting to a granny and winning the flag that they've sort of faltered. I picked them to win the flag this year, and it's probably not going to happen after what I saw there. They just didn't show anything, and they obviously went down by 43 points, and I got that tip correct though, but I didn't expect it to be that big of a margin. And the second game, we've got the first elimination final between Sydney and GWS, and this one, definitely the game of the final series so far. It was a very thrilling contest. Unfortunately, that was the one game of the 4 that I caught the least. I still caught majority of the game. The Giants, they found a way after the Swans in the last quarter. They kicked 2 goals 7. They really should have won the game at the end, but they just couldn't take their chances. And the Giants, they fought on very, very tough to get a famous, you could say, there we go, a famous 1-point win against the Swans, arguably one of their best wins in a final series. I've always felt like whenever the Giants get into a final series, they always come in underdogs and get the job done, and that's just another occasion of that happening. I got the tip incorrect, obviously tipping the Swans, as probably most did. And the second game, or the third game, second Saturday game, we've got the second qualifying final between Melbourne and Brisbane at the Adelaide Oval. I did tip the Lions in this one to get the job done in a close one. And early on, my prediction was looking alright. It was a very, very entertaining start to the finals. We saw 9 goals with multiple lead changes in the first quarter. But from there, the D's were too classy. They look really, really impressive. They look complete. All their players played a role. Not one player for the D's, played poorly. Whilst for the Lions, you could argue, you got players Mitch Robinson, Dane Zorko, Harris Andrews, we've got Joe Danaher. Those players that I can just think of the top of my head who usually play well weren't really noticed in that game. And obviously can't take away anything from the D's. They were just a better side. That's all I'm going to say. And they look like they're the premiership favourites at the moment. They can just get it done against anyone, against the good sides. And I did say in my finals predictions the other week that the Cats are going to win the premiership against the D's. I think that's going to be flipped over on its head, and I reckon the D's will win the premiership. But 33-point winners, the D's. The Lions just didn't really have any answers in that second half, especially. Yeah, I wouldn't say that the Lions played terrible. It's just the D's played very, very good, and I got my tip incorrect there. And the last game we had was obviously the second elimination final between the Dogs and the Bombers in Tasmania, Utah. Coming into this one, I was expecting a high-scoring contest before realising that this one was going to be played under a lot of rain, and the rain was a major factor in this one. It obviously goes to show the Bombers can't play well in the wet, because early on, first half, it was a really close game. Both sides had their chances, particularly the Bombers. In fact, the Bombers probably should have been in front at half-time, but that second half was all the Bulldogs. Bombers didn't score a goal after half-time. However, the Dogs scored the last 8 goals of the game to run away with 49-point winners. Cody Waitman was very significant with 4 goals from 4 free kicks. So, for Bombers fans, they weren't happy with that. But he took his chances, and that's what you need to do in the final. So, well done to Waitman. But I got the tip correct. I tipped the Dogs to win this one, but not by the margin that actually happened, which was 49 points. I tipped them by 12 in a close one. And quickly, the last week of the big calls, I almost forgot I actually did them. We'll quickly go over them, and I'm pretty sure I got them all incorrect. I think I did. First game, I predicted Hawkins to score 5 or more goals, and the Cats, well, they scored only the goals themselves, so we can all safely assume that one was incorrect. The second game, I predicted that the Giants would go goalless at quarter time. And that was another one that I got incorrect. They scored 3 goals too. And the third game between Melbourne and Brisbane, I predicted it to be 8 or more lead changes. This one was pretty far off as well from being correct. I think there was only 1 lead change. The Lions were only in front once in that game, and that was early in the first quarter. But yeah, from there the D's just took control of the game completely. And another one incorrect. And the last one, well, we all know this is probably the worst big call that I had for the round. I predicted that both sides would score over 100 points, thinking that it wasn't going to be played under any rain, but I got that one well off. 85-36 for the final scores. I think the combined score in that game was 131. So, yeah, well off the money, or 121, I should say. So even worse. So, yeah, let's get right into the semi-finals predictions. We'll go over the 2 games. They're only the 2 games, so this will be pretty short. And the first game, we've got Geelong take on GWS at Optus Stadium, and for the teams, particularly the Cats, who you expect to get the job done, it's quite helpful that they're playing at Optus Stadium, because obviously the Granny will be played at Optus, so they're going to have a little bit of finals experience at the ground itself. And historically, the Cats haven't been the best side at Optus, if you watch my best stadium percentage win rate video. But I guess this year, you could say that the 2 times that the 2 sides have played at Optus, the Cats beat the Dockers by 70. The Giants, they lost to the Dockers by, I think, like 8 goals. So you could say form-wise at Optus, the Cats have the advantage over the Giants. You would think the Giants finally run out of a bit of steam. This game, you could argue, was a little bit out of their league. The Cats are a lot better side. But if the Giants were playing the same Cats outfit that that showed up last week, you would think that the Giants would have won this game. So, you know, it's finals footy. Anyone can win this game on their good day. So it's, you know, no certainty. But obviously, looking at the odds, the Giants are $3.07. And obviously, I haven't actually gone over this yet, but a massive out, a massive talking point is Toby Green. He's out for 3 weeks after having contact with an umpire. And this was given earlier today from the tribunal. So the Giants are going to be without Toby Green for this game and for the rest of the final series if for whatever reason they win this one, which is a massive out because he's their key player. He's definitely their best player. And if for them to really have any chance of winning this, he have to be playing, which he's not, which is quite unfortunate for the game. I think it might have been a little bit too harsh. Obviously, the Cats are a better side. I don't see them going out in straight sets with their quality that they've got in, and simply due to the fact Green's not playing, I don't see the Giants getting anywhere near him. In fact, I'm tipping a bit of a smashing. There's always a smashing in the finals. There's always a smashing in the semi-final in every round of the finals. I reckon the Giants' run will come to an end, and the Cats will get the job done by 37 points. Knowing that I'm streaming this game, it'll be a shit one. And the second game of the round and the last of the semi-finals, we've got Brisbane Lions take on the Western Bulldogs. This you would think would be the better of the 2 games, just based off how they play and how close they are on the ladder to each other. The Lions were the team that stole the Dogs' 4th position, so it's a really even contest. Just purely on the fact that this game's played at the Gabba would have to give the Lions the advantage, but the Dogs on the weekend, if they play against the Lions outfit that showed up on the weekend, you could say the Dogs probably win. And honestly, the Dogs' best, in my opinion, is probably better than the Lions' best. But we just haven't seen the Dogs' best enough this season, and it's dropped off significantly after the first 11 weeks. But yeah, this game playing at the Gabba gives them a massive advantage. They're obviously going to have the home crowd cheering them on. I heard that this game's now going to be played at night. It was scheduled to be played a little bit earlier in the afternoon, but this game is now going to be played on a Saturday night, I think 7:30, so it's probably going to give, again, maybe the Lions a little bit more of an advantage. The game will be obviously probably dewy and wet, which you could say almost suits the Dogs after their brilliant performance last week in the wet against the Bombers. I also saw that apparently the Dogs aren't able to train 48 hours before this game is played. From what it's saying, does that mean that they can't train for 2 days before the game starts? Is that the case? Because if that's so, it gives the Lions another massive advantage. All of these factors are pointing towards a Lions win. I sort of have to change my tip here and go the Lions. And I'll tip the Lions to win this one by 13 points. I reckon it's going to be quite close. But there we go, guys. Those were my semi-finals predictions for the AFL this week. Should be hopefully a pretty good round of footy. Hopefully a little bit better than last week, considering we had 3 shockers and only the 1 good game. So hopefully both these games are close
in the finals this year. If you enjoyed, let me know. Leave a like. Leave your predictions down below for who you think's going to win. And you know what? Drop first goal scorers down below. I'll quickly go through mine. Bray Close in the Geelong game, something a little bit different, and Joe Danaher for the Lions. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon in my next video.